It's 5 to 9 now when guitarist and lyricist of the Manic Street Preachers Richey Edwards disappeared in the 1990s. Little did anyone imagine that almost 15 years later he would go on to bring fresh inspiration to the band.
In a new album, Richey's voice is rediscovered, not through his singing, through the words he left. Lead singer Dean Bradfield is here to tell us a little more. Before we speak to him, here's a look back at some Manic's classics.
Brilliant moments there, and Dean Bradfield joins us now. Very good morning to you.
Morning.
So a new album, and a lot of it inspired by, based on Richey's work.
Oh yeah, it is. I mean, kind of, you know, shortly before he went missing, we had these. He gave these lyrics to us. There was an initial book of lyrics he gave to Mickey Wire, and then he gave 2 copies to myself and Sean as well. So you know, we've kind of had these lyrics since 1995 or something. And I think there was over the years we just got, we were felt weighed down by the sense of responsibility to actually do something with them.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure you're not going to spend the whole interview, and we won't, talking about his disappearance, but people have been, you will be well aware, fascinated by the story. I mean, what is your take on what did happen?
To be honest, if you actually, I think we're way past actually trying to kind of like investigate what actually happened with Richey, you know, when he disappeared, because I think you get into the realms of turning it into a B movie, because people start having their own theories. You know, he's in a monastery somewhere, you know, or he's been spotted in Goa, etc. I think that's one of the first things that we learned after about 5 years, that we had to stop theorising about what actually happened. You know, we just had to come to terms with the fact that there would never be an answer. I think that's the easiest way to deal with it, really.
And inevitably, this album is going to raise all those questions again, and you must have realised that when you decided to use those lyrics. And you talk about having them and it being a kind of responsibility.
I think inevitably at the start, when you release a record like this, that kind of conjecture will start again. But very quickly, that kind of calmed down, and I think people focused on the actual lyrics and the record itself, which was our plan. We wanted it all to be about his lyrics and the music we'd written to them, basically.
And tell us about those lyrics. What are they? What is the inspiration in them? What do they make people think?
Well, kind of, sometimes it might seem of a very particular time and place, because all these lyrics were written, I suppose, between 1994 and early 95. There are cultural references in there, from low culture to high culture. People like Ingres, the Spanish painter, or Giant Haystacks. You know, the kind of, you know, the 80s wrestler. And it's definitely a sense of the absurd in some of the lyrics. But undeniably, some of the lyrics are about his state of mind at that point in time.
I'm glad you said it, because I'm looking through the lyrics, and given what we know about what happened to him, I was reading through them, and I thought many of them felt very dark and almost suicidal. And I know maybe that's just
Come on, it's from Stevie, stay on message.
What? No, I am dragging you back to it, but that is a genuine reflection. I thought some of them were very dark, and it is in there, isn't it?
I think if somebody's coming to the album, you know, very fresh, and you know, and listen to it for the first time, they might come away with the kind of, with the, you know, they might feel very dark to them, definitely. But I think, you know, the lyrics on this record are a bit different to some of his lyrics before. I think they're very much more resolved, I think they're very much more resigned, and I think they have a sense of calm about them. Whereas the lyrics on the album called The Holy Bible, which was predominantly featuring lyrics from Richey, was very much more, you know, torn up with anger and inner turmoil. Whereas I think this is very much more internalized, and it has a sense of serenity about it. And so, yeah, you might say that it might have been the calm before the storm, these lyrics, but it's not quite as angry.
Should we have a look?
Sickened and howled, streaked and spurned, plucked, lived, compelled and called, closed and swallowed, formed and regained, locked, cursed, glowed and discerned, explored, enclosed, amazed and perturbed, assumed, annoyed, seized.
Can I ask you about Cuba?
Yeah.
Because you were just mentioning a moment ago, I read that you'd met Fidel Castro performing out there. When was that?
God, oh, geez, you got me there.
Oh, don't worry about the
2001. 2001.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, kind of, that might have been seen as Manic Street folly. We thought, okay, we're going to step outside of the music industry, and we're going to go and play somewhere where we have no possibility of making money or having a commercial gain out of it. Let's go and play Cuba. And we went there, and it was definitely a very strange experience for us, because at some point, you know, we didn't know that Castro was going to turn up at the concert, and we didn't know that. And suddenly all the crowd were just turning like, you know, sunflowers to the sun, and we realised that Castro was up on the balcony. And then, like, you know, he kept popping up during our stay, and at the end he's like, "You must come to dinner with us, we will smoke cigars and chicken." And we were like, "No, our flight's 6 o'clock tomorrow." And he went, "No, I will hold the flight for you." And then we got a bit scared, kind of thing, because we realised we were in the middle of something we couldn't quite control.
It's a wonderful claim to fame.
Did you stay
Oh, I don't know.
and smoke cigars?
No, we didn't.
Did you get the flight?
We did, we got the flight. We were kind of scaredy cats when we left. But we did meet him about 3 times, and we got invited to a speech at a school. And at that point, we realised he was becoming a bit of a photo op. We were in the middle of this
Political football.
Yeah, and which was naive of us to think that wouldn't have happened, I must admit. But kind of we got invited to a speech he was making at the school, and it was like 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. I was like, "Jeez, this guy's got staying power."
So many things we could go through. We are now out of time, of course, but thank you so much for
That
coming.
was a pleasure. It was lovely.
Thank you very much, James Dean Bradfield, for joining us this morning. 3 minutes.